So I want to figure out if the problem we've uncovered is a massive, widespread issue or just a rare glitch. And I think I'm going to need you guys for this one. I'm not sure if you saw our Tasman versus Hilux mega test posted just before this video.
Oh, a bit violent that.
But we uncovered a structural problem that pretty much undermines the very reason why you'd buy one of these dual cab 4x4 utes in the first place. I'm not going to get into the weeds, I'm not going to go into the details here. You can find the full breakdown in Bruce's video. But in essence, the tub has a structural issue that causes problems when you're trying to close the tailgate when it's got a load in the back. We sent all the photos, the footage, and the evidence we uncovered to Kia. And their response was, well, pretty dry. It reads, and I quote, "Kia Australia appreciates car sales bringing this specific load securing observation to our attention. While we have not received any customer responses on this specific scenario, we take all media and customer feedback seriously. Our technical and R&D teams are currently investigating this matter. Any necessary countermeasures or ongoing improvements would be developed in due course to ensure that Tasman continues to meet the high expectations of the Australian market." This load securing observation is corporate speak for "we are not admitting anything yet." And look, they said they haven't had any customer complaints about it thus far. But the ute has only been on the road since August 2025. In car terms, it's an infant, like that guy from FIFA. Infantino! It's FIFA. Sorry. Look, car brands watch our videos and there's stuff that I can't talk about right now. However, trust me when I say they're all tuned into these conversations we're having. And as I go through everything that happened to us when we uncovered this problem, I want to know if you guys have had any similar issues yourselves. I'm keen for the full story. We're getting into the whole lot here, and I'll revisit the chat I had with Kia Australia's CEO later in the video. Okay, so Bruce discovered this issue while testing on the comparison, and he checked with an experienced automotive engineer about what was going on. He reckons it's pretty simple. Kia put the hooks on the soft sidewalls instead of the floor where the strength is. When you pull on those walls via a ratchet, they are going to move. When we did the same thing with the Toyota Hilux tub, it didn't move a millimeter. A quick look at the tie-down anchorages on the Hilux shows they're in a similar position. And while I'm no engineer, it would potentially suggest that the inner sidewalls of the Tasman are simply weaker than the Hilux. Bruce discovered this issue with the Tasman and he then sourced another Tasman to see if the issue repeated, and it did. And how's this? Car Sales news editor who lives in Western Australia, Callum Hunter, he tested a Tasman a few months back and he sent me some pics of the ute. It turns out the tailgate was a slightly different colour to the rest of the bodywork. And that's why he sent the pics. He said, "Is this normal?" I said, "No." Is the plot thickening? I'm not sure yet. But I want to hear from you. Have you driven a Tasman? Have you bought one? And have you tried putting load in the tray? Does Kia calling it a load securing observation make you feel better or worse about buying one or driving one? Drop a comment below and let's figure this out. I'll keep chasing Kia for a fix. Another point of contention we've seen in the hundreds of comments on Bruce's comparison with the Hilux and Tasman is that we didn't secure the load properly. Operator error, if you will. Well, here's the deal. The securing was done by the same bloke who has decades of experience in the transport industry. Totally independent, does it for us each and every time. This is the same test, the same benchmark we do with every single ute we test, of which we've done countless times over the past several years. The same ratchet straps, the same weights, and this is the first time we've ever encountered this problem. Now, this structural issue with the tailgate and the tub is not the only problem facing the Kia Tasman ute right now. It's an impressive rig in most respects, but golly gee, it looks munted. So this is the chat I had with Kia Australia's head honcho about a month ago, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was an edifying discussion because he was pretty candid with his responses, and a lot of auto execs often read out of the legal team's playbook, and you don't often get a lot of, meaningful information out of them. So it was refreshing, but I tell you what, I wish I had known about this tailgate issue back then because I could have quizzed him on it. Anyway, he said the shellacking this vehicle copped for its design on social media was something that they just have to roll with.
What I think is that we probably accepted the social media component of it, and you got to live with that. That's the way it is. But there's more than one way to work your way around that.
Interestingly, he later told me that the Tasman will get a facelift. This could improve it. In fact, I reckon this will definitely improve its appeal. Unfortunately, he also said this new look won't be coming in the next 6 months or 12 months. Reading between the lines, I don't think we're going to see it till like late 27, early 28, something like that. But clearly, he and his employer are well aware of the Tasman's polarising design, and I think they do want to do something about it. But I think at the end of the day, manufacturing schedules are such that you can't just retool a factory instantly. Although that said, you look at what the Chinese are doing, and they move pretty quick. Which leads me to the issue of the Tasman's popularity, or lack thereof. The Kia CEO did not shy away from questions about that 20,000 annual sales that they had targeted with the Tasman, and he admitted it ain't going to happen this year, possibly not even next year.
Yeah, I think it's going to take us a while to get there, but we're going to get there. We're committed to it. Having a full range of product too will help, but that's no excuse. We would have liked to have hit the road a lot quicker than what we have.
So he's talking about fleet sales here, where government departments and big corporations and companies buy vehicles in very large numbers at one time to get often a discount. And this is what has helped models like the Ford Ranger and Toyota Hilux accrue those big sales numbers that they're getting each and every year in Australia.
The capability of Tasman's very, very good. The comfort and the specification levels probably class leading. And we've got to make sure that we keep working hard to get to that 20,000. But it might take us a bit longer than we wanted or expected.
So that's the story morning glory. Kia is clearly realistic about the public perception issue around the Tasman's design, but the tailgate fiasco needs more scrutiny. And we'll be chasing that story here at Car Sales, so stay tuned. And again, if you drive a Tasman and have had any issues, or even if you haven't, share your experience in the comments below. It'd be good for everyone to get a better understanding of what's going on.